Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mitchell's Memories, Part 19. In the last episode, I just graduated from university. Now, the question is, what's next in my life? The script was, I would go to law school and become a lawyer, get married, have children, etc., etc. But I just didn't feel it deep inside of me. I didn't feel it. This is what I wanted to do. But the problem is I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like lost and I was confused and I was very anxious. And anyway, what I just did until I could figure it out, I got really, really heavy into rock and roll and having a good time and going to concerts. And I saw all the big names of rock and roll legend, Jimi Hendrix and the Doors and Janis Joplin and the Rolling Stones. And I went to concerts big and small and the bands you never even heard of. But I was having a good time. Still, but deep inside, I had a lot of anxiety. One day I went. The concert was the Who. The Who was playing in New York. I think it was the Fillmore East, the famous venue. And I went with my friends. I was in the back seat of the car, and it was a late night show. So, and as I told you previously, I'm a morning person. So sometimes in the evening I start to I get tired. And actually, driving to the concert, I fell asleep that evening in the back of the car. And I went into a dream. And the dream was, I dreamed that very car had lifted off the ground then into the air, into the sky. And the next thing, the car was flying in space. But actually, it wasn't just flying on space. It was flying actually on a highway, a motorway, made up of golden light. It was a golden light, and the car was going so fast. And space is like, infinite, eternal. And I was having it was a great feeling. I was enjoying it. And I up ahead, I saw the light go on and on. Then at one point, I saw that the light was dividing. In other words, the motorway was dividing into two directions. And well, that didn't worry me because, wherever this magical car goes, it's fine with me. Then I was startled from, I don't know where, a voice came to me, and the voice said, "Mitchell, which road will you take?" And at that very moment, I had the ability to see the two different roads. One road was following my heart and my dreams, and the other road was doing what society, fitting in, doing what society wanted me, just being a part of the crowd. Well, logically, hey, just follow your heart, follow your dreams. But in this experience, I saw the repercussions. And I saw that following my heart, following my dreams is a lonely path. That people don't understand you. The people that will criticize you, even attack you. On the other hand, fitting in, following the script of life, it was a very empty path for me, but at least I was accepted. I was doing what everyone else was doing, so no one was attacking me. So the voice repeated again, which road will you take? And I was frozen. I couldn't speak. Then we were actually approaching the intersection. I had to make a decision, but I was still frozen. Mitchell, which road will you take? And at the last minute, the car by itself veered towards fitting in. And that's when I said, no, that's not what I want. And I dove from the back seat of the car to the front seat. I got the steering wheel, and the last minute I turned the car to following my heart and following my dreams. And that was a very monumental experience in my life, because from that moment on, that experience went to the depth of my heart, and I saw what I wanted in life. I was still confused. I didn't know what direction to take or how it's going to turn out. But whatever it is in life, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to do it the right way, and I'm going to follow my dreams. In the meantime, it just came to me, my best strategy. I wanted, after all my years of education, I wanted to experience life. So what I did was I took, for the next year, 18 months, I took about 6 or 7 or 8 different jobs, temporary jobs, just to experience different aspects of life. And I really learned things about on the job that you don't learn when you go into school. For example, one job I worked in a liquor store, and the boss of the liquor store came over to me and said, "You see those 2 men? They're police detectives. Whenever they come in here, whatever they want to take, no charge, they can take." Okay. And a couple of weeks later, I saw the reason for that. Someone had bought liquor from the store and gave a check like for $200, and it was a bad check. The check bounced. The owner called up the detectives. The next thing you know, the detectives were knocking on that man's door and saying, "You better pay up that $200 or you're going to be arrested." So it's called a quid pro quo, and it worked out very nice for him. Another job was driving a truck, and in this truck, I had a delivery to the docks in New York City for a ship going to Japan. So I got to the dock, and the man who greeted me said, "You have 2 choices. You can unload it yourself, or the longshoremen, the union workers, they'll unload it for you, but it'll cost you $100. So I called up my boss and said, "We're not paying $100. And then the man said to me, "Okay, then you're going to have to wait, and you're going to have to wait a long time." And they just kept me waiting for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Finally, my boss said, "Okay, pay the $100." And in other words, it was a ripoff. But anyway, I was learning a lot about life in these experiences. And I remember working on Wall Street. I was actually had a push cart, and I was taking stocks and bonds from one office on Wall Street to another office. I worked in a warehouse in Red Hook, Brooklyn, and I helped reorganize the paperwork. This warehouse had thousands and thousands of invoices, completely disorganized, and I worked, and I got it perfect shape. And the boss was so impressed. He said, "I want to hire you full time." No, but I just said, "No, I'm not interested. I don't know what I want in life." And I worked in the record shop. I had so many different jobs, but finally I became a teacher's assistant in an elementary school in Brooklyn, actually East New York, my neighborhood, but not the same one I went to. In fact, it was the same school that my dad went to when he was a boy, and it was a 2nd grade class. And what I assisted the teacher by doing, let's say there were many, sometimes I took the brighter students, took them aside, and I'd give special reading for them. I took the weaker students aside, get special reading for them. I helped students individually. There was one boy who was a big troublemaker, loads of energy. The teacher said, "Get him out of the class." I took him outside. I took him to a pizza shop and bought him pizza. And we became friends. And I was able to talk to him. And basically, I helped reintegrate him in the class. Anyway, but from all those experiences, it motivated me to become a teacher. So I went to St. Francis College to get extra teaching credits. I got my teaching credentials. And I passed the test to become a school teacher. And anyway, that's where my fate was leading me to, and I wanted to see what was going to happen, but it was something much different than I expected. You'll find out next episode. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.